When you were a baby, you knew simplicity. You would sleep, cry, eat, laugh, and poo, and then you'd sleep, cry, eat, laugh, and poo some more. Oh yeah, Mom and Dad taught you how to burp, but after you felt good, you'd go back and sleep and cry and eat, laugh, and poo. Your life was pretty simple. You knew simplicity. And you would take this simplicity everywhere. It would fill you with passion. You would wonder what that dial is on this box, and what's that red circular thing. You would look downstairs and say, I gotta go down to the bottom of those stairs. You would wave to perfect strangers. You wanted to be their friends. In fact, you wanted to be friends with all the animals in the town. But soon the warnings would come in. There'd be the be careful and watch it and no, and don't. And then, you began to question yourself. And the words of warning would repeat in your head. And soon your passion to explore, well, it was being quieted. Then as you began to grow up more, you began to align with a new world, a world of business, and you said, I don't need this simplicity anymore. And you would still sleep, cry, eat, laugh, and poo, but you would always start to do new things now. You'd worry, and you'd think, and you'd complain, and so many things, that your life was becoming quite busy, and quite heavy. Yeah, you knew how to burp still, but overall, this life was becoming so heavy. You'd have this world of business, and what I like to say is that the world of business became a world of busyness for you. And the only way you'd find to cope at times was, to go on vacation. And on that vacation, in the 2 weeks, you would find your happiness again. And you'd be chasing that simplicity in the distance as you were on vacation there. But soon the vacation ended. And with it, the busyness came back. And things would pile up on your desk. Like there were so many things you had to do, so many places you had to be, and meetings you had to attend. The life was pretty heavy, and even when you had to speak to others in the boardrooms, these words, they would play in your head from time to time, and you would sort of question yourself even more as an adult. So the big question is, how do we get back to this simplicity? And I'd like to think a good way is to think back when a relationship was brand new, back when it was simple. Everything you did for the other person, it filled them with love. And everything they did for you, it filled you with love. Even if they broke your favorite vase, it was like, it's okay, honey, I love you. And there was so much passion in there. But the busyness would also come into your personal life. And that would sort of quiet out the simplicity. And it would even quiet out the passion that was in there. So, what's a way to reignite this passion? Well, in couples counseling, they have this technique. Yeah. I've been in couples counseling, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's actually really good techniques, and they really work well. One of them is called a gratitude list. You write down everything that you're grateful for in the other person, and then the other person does the same for you. And what you end up seeing is all the reasons why you fell in love with them in the first place. There's all the little things that you really love about them, and this reignites the passion within you, and the simplicity returns from that. And any project that you work on is kind of the same thing. It's like a relationship. We could lose the passion for our project because of this busyness coming into our life, and we start to question every once in a while, why am I doing this project, and why did I get into this? But I'd say at that moment, think about the time when you first thought about this project and you had all this passion, and do a gratitude list for your project. And all these things that you thought of in the first place would actually come back to your project and reignite this passion. So you remember that time when you had that idea and you said, I'm going to manifest this project. And you did. You ignited that start of it, and it became a real project. And remember that time when it was just incubating? Your whole vision at that time was you were going to change the world. Still align with that passion with this gratitude list. And remember that you still can bring all that love to the world. You can make a difference. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, flower of simplicity.